Mr. McFadden Cooking Show, Episode 2, Chocolate Chip Cookies. I've spoken to a lot of you about how your smoothies went, and I was really pleased that you guys did a really good job with them. A lot of them turned out really beautiful, and a lot of you said that they were delicious. And I saw a lot of you branching out to other fruits other than the ones we put in there. And I told you guys when we did smoothies last week that we picked smoothies because of them meeting a fruit and dairy requirement for your diet, and chocolate chip cookies don't. But chocolate is good for dementia attacks, and cookies make you feel better when you're feeling down and depressed, which a lot of people are these days. So chocolate chip cookies it is. Plus it's a good recipe for learning how to follow a recipe that's a little more complicated. And you will find this recipe on the Google Classroom site. So when we make cookies, we are dealing with wet ingredients, which I have over here, and dry ingredients, which we have over here. Okay, sugar is a weird one because sometimes sugar is considered a wet ingredient and sometimes it's considered a dry ingredient. In this recipe, it's considered a wet ingredient, but we're gonna do another one in this series where it's a dry ingredient. So first we're gonna do is we're going to combine all of our wet ingredients here into our mixing bowl. Now I'm using a stand mixer. If you have a stand mixer at home, I recommend using it. They're really great. If you do not have a stand mixer, one of these will work perfectly. You can use this to bring all your wet ingredients together. If you don't have one of those, one of these will work as well. You can use a wooden spoon to bring all this together. It just requires a little bit more work, and you will really have earned those cookies by the time you finish mixing with a wooden spoon. I'm gonna go ahead and use the stand mixer. A couple of safety things about stand mixers. They have a very powerful motor. If you were to get your hair caught inside of this, it is not going to stop until it rips a chunk of your hair out. So don't. Be safe, right? Just like we do in the labs here, keep your long hair tied back. Don't get things stuck in the running mixer, and for heaven's sakes, don't ever stick anything into a running mixer, right? It's gonna break your spoon or your whatever or your fingers, so don't stick anything into the running mixer. Same is true with this kind. If you're using one of these, you don't want to get your hair caught in one of these, right? It will probably not pull your hair out because these motors aren't super strong, but it would definitely tangle it all up and it would hurt. So you don't want to do that. All right, let's get our wet ingredients together. We have 3/4 of a cup of shortening. This is vegetable shortening. Sometimes at home I use butter. You have to let butter get warm, but the shortening is nice because it's shelf safe and it will just stay. You know, it looks yummy. It looks like vanilla frosting. It doesn't taste like vanilla frosting. It's really gross if you eat it, so don't. All right, so there is 1/2 cup. Now I'm gonna press this down into my cup. I don't want any air bubbles in there, and I'm just gonna level it off across the top. Remember when we talked about measurement, the measurement lesson, and with these kinds of measurements, we're just gonna measure right across the top. So now into my mixing bowl. But it says 3/4 of a cup, and you guys, you're not gonna find a 3/4 cup measurement. They just are really, I've seen them, but they're rare. When you buy a measuring cup set, it's usually got a 1 cup, a 1/2 cup, a 1/4 cup, maybe an 1/8 cup in there. But you don't usually have a 3/4 cup. So you're gonna need to do a 1/2 cup and a 1/4 cup, or the 1/4 cup 3 times. Either way. And there is my 1/4 cup of shortening. cleanliness in these coronavirus times, my children. Okay. Half a cup of sugar. Here's my sugar. Here's my half a cup. Same thing. Level it off. This I can just sort of shake, but I don't want to have it all mounded up over the top. All right, so half a cup of sugar. We have 1 cup of brown sugar. Hey, you know, you can make your own brown sugar if you don't have brown sugar. If you have white sugar and molasses, you can mix them and make your own brown sugar. Brown sugar we want to press down into the cup and get it down in there kind of firmly. There we go. Keeping everything clean. Okay, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm using imitation vanilla. At home, I use real vanilla. The big difference is cost. So this was 79 cents. This same size bottle for real vanilla is like $9. So, you know, it depends on what it is. But this works just fine. Smells really good, tastes terrible. Don't drink the vanilla. Oops, I made a mess. Okay. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Two eggs. Now, let's talk about eggs for a minute. 2 out of every 10 eggs is possibly contaminated with salmonella. If you get salmonella, you will get very sick. You will not be able to keep anything down. You will have diarrhea and vomiting. It's terrible. You don't want salmonella. You get it from eating raw eggs. So, we're putting raw eggs into this cookie dough. You should not eat this raw cookie dough. You should not eat it until it is cooked. It is potentially hazardous. I know, I know, I know. You're saying, but at my house, my mommy lets me eat all the cookie dough that I want to eat, and I can eat it anytime I want. That's your mother's prerogative. If she wants to risk you getting salmonella from the cookie dough, she's your parent. She's allowed to do that. I am only advising you on what is truth. And truth is 2 out of 10 average. 2 out of 10. It's 1/5. It's not good. You could get sick. Could you go your whole life and not get sick? Yes. Could you eat cookie dough once and get sick from it? Yes. So, you know, bake your cookies, please. So, eggs in to the cookie dough. This is the attachment that I'm going to use, the flat beater. This is where you would use this piece if you were using one of these, or like I said, you could take a wooden spoon and bring all this together. Patrick, can you come get a shot down inside the bowl before we start? I'm gonna put this thing, this has a lock on it. We put the lock on it to make sure that it doesn't pop up on us. And now we don't want to go real high. And we're just gonna bring this until it's kind of fluffy. And it won't take long in this mixer. It works pretty good. It works pretty quickly. and we're beating some air into this batter so that it is, more fluffy. And that's what it says on the directions. Combine the wet ingredients until fluffy. And you know what? I'm calling this fluffy. So there we go. You can see what that looks like. We're not eating this. I know it looks delicious, but it could potentially make you sick, so don't eat it, right? Wait till we bake it. Dry ingredients are getting mixed in their own bowl. Here's the dry ingredient bowl. So we've got 2 1/4 cups flour. Remember how to do measurement? We scoop it out, and we take something and level it off. That's 1 cup. Two cups. Here's my 1/4 cup. Okay. I have my baking soda. One teaspoon of baking soda. Just level it off. In it goes. 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm not gonna pour this over the bowl because I don't want to accidentally go over crazy with the salt. All right, there we go. See, right level to the top of the spoon. One cup of chocolate chips. So I'm using milk chocolate. You can also use semi-sweet if you prefer white chocolate or just going to combine this all together. And I'm going to move this. I'm going to move this stuff into here in 3 batches. So there's 1 batch. And then I'm just going to run this. And there's my 3rd batch. Okay. Okay, my cookie dough has all come together. This is when you are going to be tempted to eat it, all right? This is when. Because this is when it is looks like it's the most delicious. But remember the risks involved. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I've got my sheets. Cleanliness. These cookies probably have enough oil in them to keep them from sticking, but I'm gonna put just a little bit of cooking spray. And watch how much I do. I don't wanna have cooking spray pooling and dripping on this that much, right? Just real quick, just a light coating. Okay, now These bowls come off a little bit by twisting them, just so you know. Okay, now we're gonna make balls about like 1 teaspoon. And you can make them slightly bigger or slightly smaller. You just want all the cookies to be of the same size. And I'm just rolling them up, right? You saw I washed my hands. You want nice clean hands for this. That one's a little bit bigger. Okay, this may be more cookie dough than you can get on 2 trays. It is for me. So you may want to, you know, bake in a couple of batches is what you can do. And so I've got my oven all ready to go, 375, and I've got 2 racks in here, so I'm gonna do both racks of cookies at the same time. In they go for 12 minutes. Someone's got to wash all these dishes. That beep means our cookies are done. So, I'm gonna turn my timer off. I'm gonna open up my cookies here and pull these out. Oh my, look at those. Looks like I could have spaced them a little bit better in a couple of cases, but they all look pretty good. I'm gonna put the leftovers into the oven. Set a 12-minute timer on those. Now, these cookies are really hot, guys. They just came out of the oven, and if you go sticking one in your mouth right away, you're gonna get burned. So you need to let them cool. Now, I don't know if you have ever had a cookie where the cookie is like perfect on the top, but then on the bottom, it's like wet or like too soft. The reason that that happens is because you cooled your cookies on a cold plate. Took a hot cookie, put it on a cold plate, and that caused the cookie to cool on the top and not on the bottom. So these are cooling racks. I really like these. I have them for our kitchens in here, and they let the airflow get underneath the cookies so that the cookies can cool evenly. We want to get these off of our cookie sheet in a timely manner and onto a cooling rack so that it can cool. You can see that even these ones that are like kind of close together, they're coming apart, no problem. So you, for your assignment this week, I want you to try making chocolate chip cookies. You can use my recipe. If you have a different recipe that you would like to use, like your mother's recipe or something, I would be accepting of that. And if you don't want to do chocolate chip, if you want to do some other kind of cookie, you're like, I'm making peanut butter cookies, I will accept that as well. You take a photo of your cookie and send it in to me on Google Classroom. Or if you don't have the wherewithal to make cookies, I also will accept a paragraph about cookies. I really hope that you guys enjoy your cookie. Stay safe. We miss you. Patrick approves.